Blast 'em.
Welcome to the Dark Stream. VOX Day, voxday.blogspot.com, and Infogalactic News. So, obviously, everybody's aware of what's been going on with the 22 kids, mostly who were murdered in Manchester. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had some interesting discussions on the blog today, and it was kind of interesting. You know, a number of people get offended when I refer to Saint Breivik, and specifically, you know, the phrase that I often use, Saint Breivik, pray for us. But what you have to understand is that not only are the crimes of Anders Behring and the crimes of Abdi or you know, whoever the Muslim murderer du jour happens to be, they not only stem from the same place, they're not only the result of the same phenomena, but there's going to be more of both. There's going to be, no, he wasn't ahead of his time, but I'll explain that in a minute. Now, one of the things that a lot of people maybe don't know is that right after the attacks on Utøya, the island where the Quisling youth were doing their summer camp training, I said that when this is all over, in 100 years or so, that there will very likely be statues of Anders Breivik all across Europe. Now that sounded outrageous to people. People were upset about this. People were really, really angry about this.
It is an attack that has shocked a nation and the world. A self-confessed killer who brought Oslo to its knees and left one family member wishing he was dead. The father of Anders Behring Breivik has spoken about the fatal attacks carried out by his son. Interviewed by Norway's TV2 reporters, he asked not to be seen on camera. Jens Breivik clearly shocked after Friday's attacks.
I thought, is this possible? This must be a mistake. It can't be true. But then I realized that it was true, although it is still completely incomprehensible to me that something like this could happen. It's impossible to explain.
Living in southern France after his retirement, the reporter naturally quizzed him as to his son's past, searching for any clues to explain the sickening killings.
He was just like other boys of his age. I'm not sure what more to say. He was a bit withdrawn. He wasn't very sociable in a way, but he had no extreme tendencies back then.
Now in custody, Breivik has been told he will have no visitors bar his lawyer. His father has no urge to contact him.
No, I will never have more contact with him. In my darkest moments, I think that rather than killing all those people, he should have taken his own life.
24 hours later, an almost incomprehensible picture emerging tonight from Norway after those two horrific terror attacks. First in downtown Oslo, then at a youth camp. The death toll has now risen to 92, so many of the victims children. That number is expected to climb. And this evening, we're getting the first full picture of the horror as authorities piece together what happened, the killer's meticulous planning, and that plan as it unfolded, how he lured campers into trusting him. ABC's Miguel Marquez is in Oslo, and he leads us off again tonight. Miguel.
David, as the weight of this tragedy begins to sink in, we are learning more about how ruthlessly this plan was carried out.
We'll 3:26 p.m., a massive car bomb shatters downtown Oslo. The target, the Prime Minister's office. The streets turn into makeshift triage areas. But this horror is only beginning. 45 minutes later, and 23 miles west of the city, the shooter arrives at the ferry dock for Utøya Island.
This yellow tent right back here, that's where the ferry comes in. That's also where the shooter boarded the ferry to take him to the island. One witness we spoke to says he was so convincing as a cop that officials from the island even came over to the ferry here, checked his credentials, and let him on.
He was uniformed as a policeman. He had ID. He acted just like a police usually does.
15 minutes after boarding the ferry, the shooting begins.
He started to make people to come to him, to make young people.
And people went?
Yeah. 4 people stood around him when he started to shoot them.
Almost at point blank range?
Yeah. The first 2 he shot at point blank, the 2 others started running, so they were shot with not a great distance.
Adrian Percone saw the shooter 3 times. He tried to swim from the island, but the water was too cold and the shore too far away. He returned to the beach. As he lay motionless, a dozen or more friends were shot and killed right next to him. One of the dead even laid across his legs.
I could hear his breathing. I could also feel his boots very near me. And I could feel the warmth from the barrel when he pulled the trigger.
A television helicopter caught the gunman in the act. Bodies laying all around him, children in the water, their hands in the air.
He yelled, "I'm going to kill you all." And he was very accurate on where he was shooting. Almost every shot hit something or someone.
For an hour and a half, the killer scoured the island.
People started to run into their tents. And when he saw which tent were just closed up, he just opened it and started shooting in the tent.
This is a makeshift memorial in downtown Oslo. The horrors of what transpired here are almost impossible to fathom.